I thought that was a good use. He was even most recently admitting that on there. So you'll know Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome, my friends, to episode 2 of WWE 2K22 Fantasy Warfare right here on YouTube. I am your host, Bloody Bill Vox. We made it to episode 2. That's right, we did. They didn't throw us off of YouTube. They didn't demonetize us. They didn't block us. They didn't censor us. They didn't do anything to us. They just let it be. So here we are, episode 2, getting ready to cause some chaos. And my friends, I am very excited to bring you the action of episode 2 here of WWE 2K22 Fantasy Warfare. Today, we've got 6 action-packed matches on tap for you, my friends. So without further ado, let's take a look at the lineup of the action that we are going to be bringing you here today as part of Fantasy Warfare. First up, we are going to see Brock Lesnar going one-on-one with Matt Riddle in a matchup that many people want to see, but Brock has said would never happen. It's going to happen today. We're also going to see Finn Balor going up against Jushin Thunder Liger in a battle of Japanese legends. We're also going to see in female action, Asuka going one-on-one with Luna Vachon. In our 4th match of the evening, we are going to see Shinsuke Nakamura go one-on-one with Bruiser Brody. In our 5th match of the evening, we will see Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, going up against Bull Nakano. And then in our main event of the evening, it's going to be the 9th wonder of the world, CHYNA, against Stephanie McMahon. But if you missed any of the action from episode 1 last week, let's go ahead and take a quick look back at some of the action that unfolded during our first episode of WWE 2K22 Fantasy Warfare. There you have it, folks. Last week was quite an exciting episode, and not even shown in that recap video was the impromptu Royal Rumble match that ended last week's episode. And if you missed last week's episode, you can go ahead back into our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@BloodyBillVox. That is such a weird URL to say. youtube.com/@BloodyBillVox. Like, wow, what a system that is. Anyway, you can go there, and you can watch back episode 1 either in full, or we have made it available in segment form for you. But let's not spend any more time talking here this week on Fantasy Warfare. I mean, we're going to do plenty of talking over the matches, but let's take it down to ringside for our opening contest. It's going to be in one corner, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. In the other corner, it's going to be the original bro, Matt Riddle. This match is one that Brock Lesnar has told Riddle straight to his face is never going to happen. Well, Brock, thanks to WWE 2K22 on the PlayStation 5, that match is going to happen, and it happens next. Welcome again, my friends, to another exciting episode. We are at ringside for Fantasy Warfare. Kicking it off with a match we thought we might never see in real time. We're going to see it here at Fantasy Time. It's Riddle. It's Lesnar. It's our opening contest here this week on Fantasy Warfare. Well, I didn't have no holds barred in my notes for today. That must be a last-minute addition by the Fantasy Warfare management. So now our opening contest this week is going to be a no holds barred match, which means anything goes. These two can battle and brawl it out anywhere they want to go. And here we go. Here comes the second half of the equation here today. It's the Beast Incarnate, the man who ended the streak of The Undertaker, multi-time world champion. Here comes Brock Lesnar.
And his opponent from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 295 pounds, Brock.
Matt Riddle has been calling out Brock Lesnar for years. He has said that one of his big-time money matches would be against Brock Lesnar, and it has been reported and confirmed that Brock has told Riddle in no uncertain terms that match will never happen. But as we've kind of already poked fun at, thanks to the beauty of WWE 2K22, we are able to present that match to you here this week as part of Episode 2. On a very long list of Fantasy Warfare matchups, this one ranks up high, and it opens up the show this week. Brock Lesnar, no stranger to opening up big shows as a way to set the tone, set an impact, if you will. And that's exactly what we're going to see here in what is now a no-holds-barred contest between Brock Lesnar and Matt Riddle. There you hear it, the bell has rung, the match is underway. Lesnar with an opening strike right out of the gate. Both of these men have an extensive MMA background. Both have competed in the UFC, so you'll see a lot of grappling there. Riddle using that to drive a knee and then hits a devastating senton across the chest of Brock Lesnar. Riddle looking to make a quick impact and get a quick victory here over the Beast to open things up on Fantasy Warfare. There he hits with a crossbody off the top rope. Now Riddle would be smart to keep Lesnar grounded. Lesnar is his least dangerous when his legs are not keeping him standing. But Lesnar is back up on his feet, sweeping out Riddle's legs and hitting him with a big stomp to the chest. Lesnar over the top of Riddle now, raining down those fists, looking to cave in the face of Matt Riddle, lifting him back up to his feet, couple of hard shots to the face, headlock, swinging him across the ring. Brutal throw there by Lesnar. Lesnar with a shot to the midsection. Now he's got Riddle up, hits him in the corner, and dumps him out in the center of the ring. Now into the cover. Referee in position. What are we going to get for a count here? We only get 2. Lesnar looking to establish his dominance and be in firm control here. Nice throw by Lesnar. As we said, we'd see some MMA influence to this one, and there's a nice dragon screw by Matt Riddle. Nice back and forth flow of offense so far here in this contest. Riddle down into a cover. Referee there for just a count of 1. Riddle in some level of disbelief that wasn't enough to put away Lesnar. But Lesnar back up on his feet. He's got Riddle hooked, and a beautiful suplex. Standing vertical style by Lesnar. Hard shot, drops Riddle back to the mat. He was on the back up on his feet for a couple of moments before Lesnar just established more dominance yet again. Dropping dropping Riddle down. Uh-oh. A trip to Suplex City in order for Riddle. This could be the sign of the end for the original Bro. His fantasy has come true here today, but it could be quickly turning into a nightmare. I'm not sure if Suplex City is going to be enough, and it's not, as Riddle's able to kick out at the count of 2. Lesnar gets caught with a shot to the gut. Uh-oh. Driving him down. Referee in the way. Can't even see what he hit there. Riddle with the cover. And only gets a count of 2, whatever it was. And now Riddle is back up on his feet, hitting that move out of nowhere after Lesnar took him to Suplex City. Big time senton bomb out of the corner by Riddle. Here comes Lesnar charging for a clothesline. Apparently he can block those with forearms. Nice stuff there. Hard Irish whip into the corner. Riddle now back out to the outside, up to the top rope. He's very familiar with that top rope. He's waiting for Lesnar to get up to his feet. What's he going to go for here? Diving off. Hits him with that crossbody yet again, but he didn't go for the cover. That could be a big-time mistake by Riddle. Lesnar just hammering away. Those fists of Lesnar got to be like mini sledgehammers on the end of his arms. His strikes just look so brutal, like Riddle just hit him with a strike, and Lesnar essentially shrugged it off. Lesnar continuing to go after Riddle, Irish whipping him into the corner. While this match has been billed as no-hold bars, these two guys have been pretty much sticking within the rules. There has not been any weapon used. These two are just beating the living hell out of each other. Maybe that's why they made it no holds barred. They knew these guys were going to beat the hell out of each other. They just wanted to let them be able to do it wherever they can. Lesnar into a cover after a very unique move there, something you don't normally see out of the Beast, only getting a cover of 2. Lesnar lifting up Riddle. What's he going to go for here? Uh-oh. Another trip to Suplex City. That's German suplex number 5. German suplex number 6. This can't be good for Riddle. Lesnar not going for the cover this time. Stomping away on the arm of Riddle. Looking to bust that thing out of socket, and he catches a kick right to the head. Hard shot there. Riddle with a nice forearm. Then another one. Nice kick to the top of the skull. Pele kick style. Riddle into the cover. Could this be all for Lesnar? Referees reach 2. But only a count of 2 as Lesnar is able to kick out. I thought after a second trip to Suplex City that it was going to be over for Lesnar, but it looks like Riddle has got Lesnar in trouble. Will Lesnar tap out here? He's got him locked. He's got him stretched. Lesnar looks like he's getting ready to break the hold here. He's fighting with the arm, and he does. Riddle letting go as well. That might have been a mistake on his part. Riddle now heading up to the top rope. Flying for that senton. He misses that senton. No senton because no Brock home on that one. Into a cover after a hard hammer shot to the top of the skull. But only a count of 2 as Lesnar tells the referee he better start learning how to count. And if I were that referee, I'd be wanting to learn how to count as well. Boot to the midsection. Got him hooked again. Oh, brutal Fisherman's Buster into the cover. Lesnar gets only a count of 1 on that one. Gotta say, I'm very surprised at the count of 1, but Lesnar is stalking. Could he be waiting to set up for an F5? He's got him on the shoulders. Will Riddle counter it, or will he go? Down he goes. F5 by Brock Lesnar. This has got to be all. Referee in position. And we get a count of 3 as Brock Lesnar wins our opening contest here this week on Fantasy Warfare, hitting that F5, a definitive victory over Matt Riddle. There you see some of the highlights from this match. Lesnar took Riddle to Suplex City on 2 different occasions, but ultimately it was the F5 that put Riddle away here today. We still have plenty more action here to come this week on Fantasy Warfare. We're going to take a quick break, head backstage, talk about our next match, and then we will return to ringside for more Fantasy Warfare. Well, maybe there was a reason why Brock Lesnar said that match was never going to happen, because maybe he knew it was going to end in an F5 in a victory for the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. But still, it was fun to see what would happen theoretically if Brock Lesnar and Matt Riddle were to get into the ring. And you never know. When there's money to be made, tickets to be sold, merchandise to be printed and sold off to the fans, you might one day see Brock Lesnar and Matt Riddle inside of a pro wrestling ring. That is one match that I don't think will always remain a fantasy. But for now, it was a fantasy and a Fantasy Warfare that we get to play out here today on Fantasy Warfare. Well, we're going to keep the action rolling along there. I'm so excited, getting a little tongue-tied. There's the tongue-tied. We just untied it. Yeah, that's right, we did. Anyway, our next contest coming up here today, we'll see a couple of New Japan Pro Wrestling legends. Big-time names from the New Japan Pro Wrestling world locking horns, one of them with horns literally, as it will be Jushin Thunder Liger going up against Finn Balor. Let's head on down to ringside for our second contest of this week. Welcome back to ringside for some more Fantasy Warfare action. It's time for match number 2. A battle of legendary names from New Japan Pro Wrestling lore.
Making his way to the ring from Tokyo, Japan. Weighing in at 186 pounds, Jushin Thunder Liger.
Jushin Thunder Liger, one half of the equation here today in this match. A legend of the New Japan Pro Wrestling scene, and about to meet another man who under a different name made quite a name for himself in New Japan Pro Wrestling, now making a name for himself here in the United States as Finn Balor. And here comes the member of the Judgment Day. Careful there, Finn. Don't aim those guns at me, sir. I'm barely paid well for this. And when I say barely paid well, I mean I'm not paid at all. Basically, you've said, sit down, commentary man. Sit down and do some commentary. Commentate this here at Fantasy Warfare. That's exactly what we're doing. But what a contest this ought to be. Finn Balor one of the fastest, most agile wrestlers of today's generation, locking horns with Jushin Thunder Liger, one of the most agile, one of the fastest high flyers of the early 1990s. Even into the 2000s, his game remained at a top-notch level. So we will see these two go to battle here today. Multiple-time champions between them all. Finn Balor has quite the history with factions. It started, for notoriety's sake, with New Japan Pro Wrestling and the Bullet Club. These days in WWE, Finn Balor runs with the Judgment Day. But there's no Judgment Day, there's no Bullet Club here at ringside. It will just be one-on-one action. Finn Balor, Jushin Thunder Liger, it's about to go down. Fantasy Warfare style. I'm looking forward to this one, folks. Crowd chanting for Finn Balor on this one. Quite surprising. I wouldn't think the audience would be behind Balor on this one. Nice springboard moonsault right away. Liger taken to the skies within the opening seconds of this contest. Not even waiting. He's up on the top rope one more time. Jesus! Shooting star press. How young is this match? This match can't even be more than a minute old. It's not. It's not even more than a minute old. We've already seen a springboard moonsault and a gnarly, just gnarly shooting star press. But Finn Balor now has taken back the offense from Jushin Thunder Liger. He is heading up to the top rope of his own. Big time knee drop. Referee down into that cover. Getting a 2 count on that one. Quite surprising. I didn't think after the way Liger started this contest that we would see anything close to a near fall if he got taken down, but shows what I know. Shows what I know about the devastation of Finn Balor's strikes as he takes Liger to the upper left corner. Drove his head into the turnbuckle, but Liger countered. Now we've got a collar and elbow. Liger gets sent over the top rope. He's on the apron. Drop kick sends him out to the floor. Finn Balor following after him right away. Oh! Double stomp on the floor. Smashing the wrist. The referee is now enacting the standard 10 count in this one. These two guys aren't careful. We could see our first draw of Fantasy Warfare. Boot to the midsection. Unlike in tournament action that have been seen previously over at twitch.tv/BloodyBillVox, a draw here at Fantasy Warfare just simply means the match is over. And that the tournament action, if it meant a bye for somebody, the match simply restarts. So no tournament rules in this one, as Jushin Thunder Liger is starting to light it up on the offense. And then he goes right into a cover. Kind of interesting sequence of events there, but he only gets a 2 count as Finn Balor kicks out right before the referee comes down for a count of 3. Balor grabs him. Oh, driving him down head first into the canvas. Referee into the cover. Woo. Very close. Very, very close. Finn Balor was within seconds of putting away Jushin Thunder Liger. He's up on the top rope. Coup de grace! Coup de grace by Finn Balor. This could be all out of nowhere. And it is. It's over, folks. Coup de grace does it out of nowhere. But at the same time, this match started fast. It started furious. Within seconds of the bell ringing, we had Jushin Thunder Liger hitting a springboard moonsault and also a shooting star press. So in a way, you almost can't be shocked that this match came to an end when it did. But in the end, it's Finn Balor who comes off the top with the coup de grace, picking up the victory here this week on Fantasy Warfare. What a victory for the leader of the Judgment Day, the former member of the Bullet Club, a New Japan legend, defeating another legend in his own right, Jushin Thunder Liger. What a victory for Balor, but we're going to take a quick break, head backstage, and talk about our next contest here this week. It's going to be some action between some of wrestling's most dangerous ladies. We'll tell you about it coming up next. Balor able to get the big-time victory over Jushin Thunder Liger in that fantasy warfare contest, hitting the coup de grace, driving both of his feet into the sternum bone of Jushin Thunder Liger. What a contest that was. Personally speaking, I thought Liger was going to come out on top. Ahead of the matches this week, I always like to make my own little predictions. And on my sheet, I predicted Liger was going to get the victory on this one, so mark it down wrong for me on this one. Jushin Thunder Liger is not able to walk away with the victory here this week in Fantasy Warfare. But in our third match of the evening, we are going to see two of the most, it's the nicest way we can put this, psychotic personalities in pro wrestling history. We're going to see in one corner, the Empress of Tomorrow, some of the deadliest feet in pro wrestling, Asuka. Then in the other corner, she's a member of the VACHON family. She's unhinged. She's a little bit crazy. But she's also one of the most dangerous females to ever step foot inside of a pro wrestling ring. In that other corner is going to be Luna Vachon, who will walk away with the victory here as Asuka goes one-on-one with Luna Vachon. Well, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's go back down to the ring. We are back with more Fantasy Warfare action. This one's gonna be a hard-hitting affair. Here comes one half of the equation for this hard-hitting matchup. It's Luna Vachon.
Is scheduled for one fall, making her way to the ring from Memphis, Tennessee,
Well, nice attempt there by the creators in the WWE 2K22 Community Creations. Linzer Vachon is the announcement. But as we know, as the print material says, our participant for this contest is none other than Luna Vachon, member of the legendary Vachon family, one of the most feared grapplers in all of pro wrestling, here to do battle with one of the most feared strikers in all of pro wrestling. Well, we're about to see her. It's Asuka. That music itself is simply iconic. That opening sound, yeah, it's good stuff. I'm a big fan of it. Asuka had one of the longest NXT Women's Championship reigns in the brand's history. In fact, she never actually lost the championship. She was stripped of the title due to injury, and then she soon after went to the main roster where she would there suffer her first loss to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans, Louisiana. But here today on Fantasy Warfare, Asuka will look to start her appearances in Fantasy Warfare off with some winning ways when she goes up against Luna Vachon here in just a few moments in our third match of the evening. We still have 3 more exciting contests to come here this week. Our next matchup will be Shinsuke Nakamura going up against Bruiser Brody. Then we will see Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, go up both NAKANO. And of course, you can't forget our main event. It's a match decades in the making. It will be the 9th wonder of the world and the $1 billion princess when CHYNA goes up against Stephanie McMahon. But this match is officially underway as Luna Vachon is already on the offensive advantage on Asuka. driving her skull into the turnbuckle 10 times. Asuka's going to be extremely disoriented to start this contest, as Luna Vachon now immediately going to start picking apart the body. Went from the head down to the leg, now raking the eyes. As we said, Luna Vachon, one of the most feared grapplers in all of pro wrestling, and she is quickly showing why with an offensive flurry right out of the gate that has Asuka on the defensive. Oh, but nobody home on that one. Luna tried for a springboard crossbody splash, but Asuka moved out of the way, and now Asuka is capitalizing on that mistake by Luna Vachon, raining down with punches to the forehead. Ooh, there we go. We talked about it. Some of the most devastating kicks in all of pro wrestling. We saw one just now to the spine. Only gets a 1 count. I can't say that I'm too surprised that it only got a 1 count. Luna Vachon, one of the more devastating and tough to put down combatants. Not exactly sure what the hell was going on there. But we got a Bubba Bomb into a cover. Only a count of 1 on that one. Asuka giving a little slap to the booty, getting the crowd going, tapping that booty. Irish whip sends Luna Vachon over the top rope and down to the floor. Referee starting his count as these two start to brawl on the floor. Irish whip reversal. Luna goes into the guardrail, but she rolls out of the way though. Nice counter by Luna, raking the eyes yet again. Just savagely stomping away at Asuka. She tried for the knee drop there, but she moved out of the way. She being Asuka, pronouns pal. Asuka hitting a big suplex on the floor. Referee has reached 6 in this one. If these two aren't careful, we could see a double count out as he reaches 7. Luna Vachon smartly sending Asuka in. Death Valley Driver. This could be all. Luna quickly into the cover. We get 2. Oh, that's all we get is 2. Luna Vachon, very smart, very quick, rolling her in, hitting her with the Death Valley Driver, going for the quick cover, but Asuka moving out of the way. But Luna comes down with the splash. We get a cover. We get 2. Oh, wow. I thought we were on the verge of a 3 count there. My body was preparing to say, and your winner, Luna Vachon. But that was not to be, as Asuka almost rips the arm out of the socket of Luna, going into a cover, only getting a count of 1 on that one. Hard kick to the spine by Asuka. Asuka now up to the top rope. She's waiting for Luna. Nope. Jump down off the top. Luna catches her with a hard strike to the jaw. Irish whip sends Luna over the top rope and down to the floor yet again. The action spilling out to the floor, but Asuka staying in the ring this time. Or I spoke too soon on that one as Asuka now follows Luna out to the floor. Referee resets the count, and Luna makes Asuka pay for coming out to the floor with a backbreaker right on the floor. Leg sweep by Asuka. Got a lock up on the floor. Double arm suplex on the mats outside the ring. I mean, that move sucks no matter what. Speaking from experience, being thrown around inside a pro wrestling ring and on a floor, they suck both equally. But on the floor, it definitely takes the cake for sucking a little bit more. As Asuka hits with the kick to the midsection, and she gets the hip attack on Luna. Could this be enough to put Luna away? She hit her hard with that hip attack. Referee in great position for the cover. And that is not enough, as Luna is able to kick out at 2 3/4. The hip attack not enough to put Luna away, but Asuka could be looking for that Asuka lock. Swinging through, she's got her. Can she lock the body? She's got the body lock. This could be all for Luna Vachon. Will she tap out on this one? Can she fight through it? Can she get out of it, or will she tap? Asuka's got the lock locked in. It's in tight. But Asuka lets go. All right. I'm not sure I would have let go of the Asuka lock if I had it in there. Oh my goodness. Devastating elbow drop. Referee down into the cover. And that will do it, my friends. Asuka's saying if the Asuka lock won't do it for you, I'll drive my elbow through your freaking sternum. Oh, there you have it, folks. Asuka getting the victory over Luna Vachon here. She couldn't make her tap out, and I'm not surprised by that. Luna, not one to quickly give up ever, not only in life but in pro wrestling. But in the end, it was a elbow drop that spanned like 3/4 of the freaking ring that takes Asuka to the victory here this week in Fantasy Warfare. We're going to take a quick break, head backstage, talk about our next contest, and then when we come back, it will be that next contest. Shinsuke Nakamura and Bruiser Brody coming up next. My friends, we just saw another exciting contest down at ringside between Asuka and Luna Vachon, and in the end, it was Asuka who walked away with the victory here in Fantasy Warfare. I'm sure we'll see Luna Vachon coming back around Fantasy Warfare in the future. Tonight was not her night, but I'm sure it will be in future nights. Coming up next in our fourth match of this week's episode, we are going to go back down to the ring for some more battles of Japanese legends. This time in one corner, we are going to see the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura, going up against one of the most infamous personalities in pro wrestling history, a man that could send people flying from the stands in fear with the frenzy that he brought when he would enter to the ring. That man, none other than the legendary Bruiser Brody. Coming up next, down at ringside, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bruiser Brody. Let's head down to the ring. Welcome back to ringside, ladies and gentlemen, humans of Earth, and otherworldly planets that may be inhabiting my planet right now. Welcome back to Fantasy Warfare. It is now time for our fourth contest of the evening. It's Shinsuke Nakamura going up against Bruiser Brody. What a match this is going to be, folks. Shinsuke Nakamura entering to great fanfare here today in Fantasy Warfare, but he is going to have a tall challenge on his hands in this next contest. I've never seen a man be able to send an entire stadium running with fear, but that is exactly what Bruiser Brody has been capable of throughout his professional wrestling career. I guess thank goodness for the fact this is a 2022 environment, as Bruiser Brody will be entering through the aisleway just like everybody else on the show here today. And he won't be swinging his chain all over creation.
Santa Fe, New Mexico, weighing in at 284 pounds, Bruiser Brody.
In fact, Bruiser Brody doesn't even have his chain with him here for this contest, which might speak a little bit to how much he takes this contest seriously against Shinsuke Nakamura here today. Bruiser Brody, one of the toughest and wildest competitors in all of Japan's pro wrestling history, and Shinsuke Nakamura, no slouch himself. They don't call Shinsuke Nakamura the King of Strong Style for nothing, but at the same time, Bruiser Brody was almost looked at like King Kong. A monster among men. Somebody today calls themselves the monster of all monsters, but I doubt they would be calling themselves that if Bruiser Brody still walked the planet here today. But instead, we get this match underway. As I say, instead of talking about that other so-called monster, we will instead get down to action here is Bruiser Brody looking to establish his dominance over Nakamura quickly. Nakamura trying to take that offense back, and Brody says, I don't think so. Driving that gigantic knee into the skull of Shinsuke Nakamura, but Nakamura quickly countering with a kick to the skull of his own. Is Nakamura trying to break his neck? He's got a neck vice there. A neck vice by Nakamura, then throwing down Bruiser Brody. You don't want to waste any time with Brody, though. You don't want to take this time to pose, because now Brody is back up on his feet. He's got you locked up, and he's choking the life out of you. If Nakamura had stayed on his offensive game, I don't think Brody would have been able to get back up and nearly choke the life out of him. Nakamura now. Now, this is a smart move by Nakamura, or it was. I mean, the fact that he's done doesn't make it any less smart, but, you know, maybe I need to be faster in calling the action. But there, trying to take the arm out of the socket was very smart. Brody, one of the most lethal strikers in pro wrestling. If you take out one of those arms, he's going to have a hard time hitting you a bunch. Nakamura now just, in general, going for the body, which, again, is very smart. You want to keep Bruiser Brody down. That is the best place to have him, is down. Nice flying elbow drop by Nakamura. Comes down off the top rope into a cover on Brody. Referee there for the count of 2, and that's all he gets on that one. Kick to the sternum and then to the spine. A 1-2 combo by Nakamura. Hard kick to the chest. 2 and 3 and 4 and a 5th. How many times is Brody going to catch these kicks? Oh, gnarly. Gnarly one right to the skull. Oh, brutal with the Kinshasa out of nowhere. There it is. Kinshasa out of nowhere, standing style, didn't even run into it, just took his damn freaking head off. We've had 2 matches here today end out of nowhere, and ironically enough, both of them involved our Japanese legends essentially colliding. Earlier it was Finn Balor with the sudden coup de grace over Jushin Thunder Liger, and then in this contest, there you see it, the sudden Kinshasa by Shinsuke Nakamura for the victory. But nonetheless, doesn't matter how fast it happened, where it happened, or why.
He is the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura!
There you have it, folks. We'll be right back here on Fantasy Warfare. What a shocking ending to that one between Shinsuke Nakamura and Bruiser Brody. It was Shinsuke Nakamura walking away with the victory in that one, as he was able to level Bruiser Brody with a Kinshasa. Did I say that right? I may have said it right. If I didn't say it right, you'll tell me in the comments, right? That's right, you will. But in a big-time surprise, Shinsuke Nakamura walks away with the victory over Bruiser Brody in our 4th match of the evening. Quite a shocker on that one, my friends. I really thought that Bruiser Brody was going to walk away with the victory in that one. When I saw it in the match lineup this week, I thought, this is going to be a tough one, it's going to be a brutal one, but it's going to be Bruiser Brody who walks away with the victory, so wrong again I was. Maybe I won't be wrong in this next one, our 5th match of the evening. It's going to be Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, going up against Bull Nakano. Now, call me crazy on this one, but I think Dr. Britt Baker has a really good shot of putting down Bull Nakano in this one. Now, Bull Nakano, we all know the legend of Bull Nakano. She's one of the strongest, one of the most rugged performers to ever step foot in any professional wrestling ring, whether it's been in Japan or the United States. She has been a personality to be feared. But you can never underestimate the tactics and the skill of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So we will find out in just a few moments as these combatants get ready to enter Fantasy Warfare, when it's going to be Britt Baker going up against Bull Nakano. Here we go, folks. It is time for our semi-main event of the evening. Sounds like it's time for a final boss to make their way towards the ring. It's Bull Nakano.
Making her way to the ring from Kamakura, Kanagawa, Japan, the
Bull Nakano making her way to the ring here for this matchup with Britt Baker, Dr. DMD. Wait a minute. Let's try that again. Cut. Oh, wait. We're live. Commentary. Recording booth. What? Huh? All right. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Hey, you know what? We have slips of the tongue sometimes. Doesn't mean you gotta scrap your entire recording. Do it all over again. Yes, I know doctor and DMD. Kind of like all the same stuff. You know, DMD, dentist, doctor. I get it. She's a doctor. She's a dentist. She's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. But you know what Bull Nakano is? One tough individual. I still remember the first time that I ever saw Bull Nakano as a young child watching the World Wrestling Federation in the 1994 year. She was devastating. She was brutal, and above all else, at 9 years old, she was a bit frightening. But nonetheless, she may have a tough time striking fear into the heart of her opponent here today. Not easily intimidated. One of the most wily competitors in all of professional wrestling. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, making her way to the ring here in our semi-main event contest this week for Fantasy Warfare. An interesting clash of styles in this Fantasy Warfare contest this week. Bull Nakano about hitting hard, power displays, overpowering her opponents, and Britt Baker, she's very skilled in the ring, but she is also about utilizing each and every avenue she can to get the victory. She will exploit a body part as much as she'll exploit a rule, if it means her hand raised in victory when the final bell rings. But before we can get to the final bell, there's the opening bell of this contest, and this match is underway as Bull Nakano opens it up strong. We talked about those power displays. Big time belly-to-belly suplex, but she took a moment to pose, and that's a mistake on her part, in my opinion. She shouldn't have taken that moment to pose, and she may have be on the paying end for it here. Panama Sunrise, holy Jesus. Panama Sunrise out of nowhere. This could be all. It wasn't all, though. My goodness. Britt Baker hitting the Panama Sunrise out of left field. Quite literally, that was the left corner of the ring. The way we're looking at it, that was left field. Anyway, back to calling the action instead of doing baseball analogies. Britt Baker's got an arm bar. Arm bar. Bull Nakano rolls through. Oh, nasty. Drives a knee into the skull to break that hold. Now she's got her hooked. Nice side suplex by Bull Nakano. Britt Baker trying to get back up to her feet quickly, though, and she pays for it with a jumping arm breaker. But now Bull, oh, nice counter, or not counter, but transition into a brief submission hold. Now rolls her into the cover, only gets a count of 1 on that exchange as Britt Baker kicks out. Now rising back to her feet, and Bull Nakano says, hey, let me help you. Another jumping arm breaker and another transition into that arm bar yet again. It looks like Bull Nakano is seeking to take a limb with her, and it could be the left arm of Britt Baker. Fists of Fury by Bull Nakano. Counter by Baker, but she gets countered again. Another counter. We got some counters going back and forth. Flatliner City by Britt Baker. She heads up to the top rope. What's she going for? Big time elbow, I think. Yeah, that was an elbow. Not the greatest looking elbow in the world. And, well, the count on that pinfall attempt reflects, I believe, the quality of that pinfall, as we only got a count of 1 off of that elbow. Here she comes off the rope. Big time stomp And usually following the stomp, we get the lockjaw. But not this time. Bull Nakano says, no, no, no. You're not putting me down easily enough. Trying for a pedigree, maybe, I'm not quite sure, but Bull Nakano reverses it with a backdrop of her own. She's pulling Britt Baker around. Didn't go for the cover on that one, a bit confusing. A little bit confusing of a tactic there, Nakano. Now shooting the arm over into a cover. Referee staring up the booty hole. I'll never understand the referees in their game and this obsession with staring up the booty holes. Doesn't matter who it is, men, female. Yeah, it's irrelevant. They will stare up booty holes and count pins. It's so very weird. Bull Nakano is tying up the body of Britt Baker. If she turns this around and hooks everything up, this could be all for Baker. She is in a devastating submission hold right now. Her legs are twisted. Her arms are twisted. I don't even know how I guess she'd have to scream that she gives up on this one. But Bull Nakano letting her down, that had to be just as uncomfortable for her as it was for Britt Baker's body. Bull Nakano into the cover. Ooh, only a count of 2 on that one as Britt Baker is able to power through and kick out just before the referee's hand reached down for the count of 3. Got a leg lock by Bull Nakano on Britt Baker. Looking to again utilize submission, but again, Bull Nakano lets out of it and she gets kicked right in the face over it. Boot to the midsection again. Britt Baker off the ropes. Another stomp to Bull Nakano. Could she go for the lockjaw this time, or is she going to go for a cover and try to get that pinfall victory? Looks like she's going for that pinfall victory. Referee in great position, but only a count of 2. I think if Britt was going to go for the pin, she should have done so right where Bull Nakano landed, but instead she's going for the lockjaw. Can she get Bull Nakano to tap out? What a big surprise it would be if she could get a tap out victory here. Holy crap, she got the tap out victory. Bull Nakano taps out to the lockjaw, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is able to get what many people have got to think is a surprise victory over Bull Nakano. We've taken a look back at some of the highlights here in this matchup. A back and forth battle between these two, but ultimately it's the Doctor who walks away with the victory in our semi-main event here this week on Fantasy Warfare. There you see that second stomp that led us in to the lockjaw that led to the submission and a victory for the Doctor. We're going to take a quick break, folks, and then when we come back, it's main event time. It'll be the 9th wonder of the world, China, going up against the billion-dollar princess, Stephanie McMahon. Yes, I finally got one right this week on my prediction sheet. You may have noticed that I didn't share for every match because I've been wrong in every single match this week in terms of Bloody Bill Predicts It. And maybe we should make that a segment at the top of the shows in future weeks. I think next week we will do Bloody Bill Picks It. I think that'll be a fun segment at the top of the show. But in any event, I finally got one. It took me up to match 5 this week, but I finally got one right. Britt Baker not only able to defeat Bull Nakano, but she made her tap out to the lockjaw, which was a bigger surprise to me. Now, I did say that I thought Britt Baker had a chance of getting the victory here, but to be honest, I thought it was going to be something like a roll-up, small package, that kind of thing. I didn't think she would actually make her tap out to the lockjaw, but that is exactly what Britt Baker did in that contest with Bull Nakano. Well, we've got 5 matches down, and it's time for the main event. Now, this is a match that I think a lot of people have dreamed up in their heads over the years. We know the story behind it. At one point in time, China was in a relationship with Triple H. Triple H started a relationship with Stephanie McMahon. and it was not exactly the cleanest of fallouts. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time going into the details. A super simple Google search will find you those answers. But one thing a simple Google search will not find you is the answer to what would happen if CHYNA stood across the ring from Stephanie McMahon. Well, that's exactly what we are about to find out in our main event of Fantasy Warfare this week. It's going to be the 9th wonder of the world, CHYNA, against the billion-dollar princess, Stephanie McMahon. Let's go down to the ring for our main event. Here we go, folks. It is main event time. It's a match many people have wondered about for many years, and we're gonna get an idea.
It's a Falls Count Anywhere match. Making her way to the ring from Redondo Beach, California. The 9th wonder of the world, CHYNA!
As I was saying, it's a match people have wondered, and we are about to get an idea of how it would play out. We know the tangled web that exists between these two, how it all started over, well, romance. And it quickly became a personal issue behind the scenes, but given the tactical nature of Stephanie McMahon and the sheer power of CHYNA, many have wondered what would have happened if these two ever stepped foot in the ring. So today in our main event of Fantasy Warfare, we are going to find out exactly what would have happened if these two stepped foot in the ring. Now,
Greenwich, Connecticut, Stephanie McMahon.
if you look at this match purely on paper, you say CHYNA has got every advantage in the book. She's got power, she's got size, she's got speed, she's got everything, every category for the most part that you could measure over Stephanie McMahon. She's got that advantage. But Stephanie McMahon, well, she's a McMahon, and that alone can't be discounted. And every time Stephanie McMahon steps foot into the ring, she's always got some tricks up her sleeves, and, well, she doesn't have sleeves on, but, you know, she got pant legs. She might have some tricks up the pant leg today instead of up her sleeves. But either way, this is going to be an interesting contest here in our main event this week on Fantasy Warfare. CHYNA, she's had her axe to grind with Stephanie McMahon for years, and, well, here we go. Let's grind that axe. Let's fight it out. Let's battle it out. As we heard in the announcements, it is a Falls Count Anywhere match. That means, well, Falls Count Anywhere. Stephanie with a hard suplex on the floor. CHYNA kicking out before even getting to a count of one. Oof. Stephanie not wasting any time going after CHYNA. She's like, hey, you want this match, bitch? I'll give you this match, bitch. CHYNA putting some space between her and Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie now entering the ring. Here we go, Irish whip. Across the other side, boots to the midsection. Stomp, 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 stomp. CHYNA, oh, catches a hard shot to the ribs. Stephanie with a spear. I can't believe I just said Stephanie with a spear and that the recipient was CHYNA. CHYNA now has Stephanie. Oh, brutal. Dropping her down across the throat on that top rope. Now CHYNA looking to dissect. Nice agility there by CHYNA. She's waiting on Stephanie up to her feet. Oh, missing the double axe handle there. Stephanie catching her boot to the midsection. More boots. Multiple boots. All the boots. Every single boot. These boots were made for kicking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna kick the hell out of you. I say that as Stephanie McMahon is now getting the hell kicked out of her by CHYNA, who is stomping a mud hole and walking it dry and now stretching the rules a little bit, except, well, there are no rules in this one with it being falls count anywhere. These two could pull out a flaming branding iron a la Terry Funk and brand each other's initials into each other's backsides if they wanted. And then they could pin each other in the corridor of the arena here in Boston, Massachusetts, site of this week's Fantasy Warfare. We'll be taking the show to another location next week. It's been a nice 2-week stay here in Boston, Massachusetts for Fantasy Warfare. Wonderful town here in Boston. Lots to do, great food, great sports. But we'll take it on the road for a couple of weeks to another destination. Coming up next week as part of episode 3, back spring elbow by CHYNA, rolling Stephanie McMahon over into the cover. We get 2, and we get 3. All right, that's an interesting way to put her away on that one, but hey, a victory is a victory. Maybe she, like, caved in a breastbone or something, or punctured a lung. I don't even know. Like, that one just ended very suddenly. But hey, like I said, victory is a victory, and it's CHYNA who walks away with the victory here in this week's main event of Fantasy Warfare as we take a look back at some of the highlights. But on that note, my friends, we're going to send it to the backstage area one last time here today. Talk about the events of this match, the events of next week's episode, but I'll see you next week right here at ringside. Don't you dare go anywhere. We'll be right back. Well, folks, it's CHYNA that is able to walk away with the victory over Stephanie McMahon, hitting her with that back spring elbow. Must have, I don't know, knocked the wind out of her, broke her damn sternum, who knows? Kind of a surprising ending in terms of how it ended. I can't say I'm too shocked that CHYNA was able to wipe the floor with Stephanie McMahon in the end, but I thought Stephanie McMahon might pull a few tricks out from her business sleeves, even though she wasn't really wearing those in the ring. But, you know, the suits, they always got a trick up their sleeve, but Stephanie did not have the tricks up her sleeve to get CHYNA to stay down for a pinfall, and it is the 9th wonder of the world who walks away with the victory here in Fantasy Warfare. But what an exciting episode of Fantasy Warfare it has been. I'd like to thank you all for joining me this week for episode 2 of the show. But before we go ahead and close things out this week, let's go ahead and talk about episode 3, shall we? Coming up next week, it's going to be Tag Team Week. Every single match on the card will feature tag teams. It will be tag team attractions each and every match of the show. WWE is presenting Survivor Series next weekend on Saturday, November 26th. Well, on November 25th, Friday, November 25th, right here, YouTube, that's right, 6 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be Tag Team Week. And in our main event of Tag Team Week, 2 of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling history are going to lock horns in the main event. In one corner, it's going to be FTR, and in the other corner, it's going to be Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers. But that brings to close another episode of Fantasy Warfare. And as we did at the end of episode 1, we're going to do the same thing at the end of episode 2. We're going to take a look back at some of the highlights that took place in this week's episode of Fantasy Warfare. And until next week, I am your host, Bloody Bill Vox. You can find me across social media at Bloody Bill Vox, and I will see you next week right here on Fantasy Warfare.